Good morning. This is Blandina. This is the second video of the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. As usual, we will move to the quiz part. So first question, who was clad in coat and hood of green? Option A, the clerk. Option B, the yeoman. Option C, the monk. Option D, the friar. It is option B, the yeoman. Second question, who is well known for the table manners? Option A, the nun. Option B, the cook. Option C, the wife of Bath. Option D, the prioress. Who is well known for the table manners? It is option D, the prioress. Third question, what was written on the prioress brooch? Option A, crowned A and amor vincit omnia. Option B, crowned B and amor vincit omnia. Crowned A and lectio divina. Option D, crowned B and Jesus Christ. So what was written on the prioress brooch? It is option A, crowned A and amor vincit omnia. Fifth question, what language did the prioress speak fluently? Option A, English. Option B, German. Option C, Spanish. Option D, French. The answer is option D, the French. The prioress can speak French fluently. Fifth one, which pilgrim is described as a forester by Chaucer? Option A, the knight. Option B, the merchant. Option C, the yeoman. Option D, the sailor. It is option C, the yeoman. Sixth question, what medal was the yeoman wearing? Is it option A, a Christopher medal of silver green? Option B, Frost medal. Option C, George Cross medal. Option D, Gallantry medal. It is option A, a Christopher medal of silver green. Seventh question, what was the name of the prioress? Is it option A, Madame Bartet? Option B, Madame Violet. Option C, Madame Lee. Option D, Madame Eglantine. It is option D, Madame Eglantine. Eighth question, what was the prioress feeding to the hounds? Option A, roasted meat or milk and white bread and fine white bread. Option B, raw meat and milk. Option C, a bowl of meat soup. Option D, turkey chicken. It is option A, roasted meat or milk and fine white bread. Next question, who had fine horses in his stable? Option A, the friar. Option B, the clerk. Option C, the summoner. Option D, the monk. So who had fine horses in his stable? It is option D, the monk. 10th question, the monk compared to which one of the following line? Is it option A, a fish out of water? Option B, a horse out of a stable? Option C, a sheep out of its flock? Option E, a fish inside the water. It is option A, a fish out of water. 11th question. Who had grey hounds as swift as fowl in flight? Option A, the friar. Option B, the clerk. Option C, the monk. Option D, the squire. So who had grey hounds as swift? Swift means quick. As quick as fowl in flight. Flight means in flying. So who has grey hounds as quick as a bird in flying? Is it option A, the friar, option B, the clerk, option C, the monk, option D, the squire? It is option D, the monk. We saw already the prioress also had hounds, but it is not mentioned that it is as swift as a fowl. Here, the monk is using these greyhounds for hunting purpose. Question number 12. His head was bald, which shone like any glass. This line refers option A, the merchant, option B, the cook, option C, the monk, option D, the physician. So, whose bald head was shining like a glass? It is option C, the monk. Okay. 13th question. Which pilgrim loved hunting? Is it option A, the clerk, option B, the squire, option C, the monk, option D, the physician? Who loved hunting? It is option C, the monk. 14th question. The yeoman well knew all the practice of dash. Option A, woodcraft, option B, horse riding, option C, fishing, and option D, cooking. So, the yeoman well knew all the practice of woodcraft. That is the right answer. Option A is right. So 15th, this is the last question of the quiz. What was the yeoman carrying? Option A, a brooch. Option B, a spear. Option C, a horn. Option D, crossbows. It is option C, a horn. Here ends the quiz part. So in the first part of our video, we already saw the descriptions, details of the knight and the squire. In this video, we will see about the yeoman, then the prioress, and finally the monk. First, we will see the descriptions about the yeoman. Who is a yeoman? Yeoman is an attendant in a royal household. It's like a servant. So, the yeoman is accompanying the knight. So, who brought the yeoman with him? It is the knight. So, that is our first point. The knight had a yeoman and no more servant. So, this knight is bringing this yeoman with him. The yeoman was clad. Clad means dressed in coat and hood of green. He was carrying a mighty bow and a sheaf of peacock arrows under his belt. Sheaf means bundle. So the yeoman was carrying a bow and a bundle of peacock arrows under his belt. He knew woodcraft. So this yeoman is skilled in carving or fashioning objects from wood. Yeoman is wearing an archer's wrist guard. What is the purpose of a wrist guard? to protect his wrist from the wounds, injuries. He had a sword, a small shield, and a dagger. So not only a bow and a bundle of arrows he is carrying, he is also carrying a sword, a small shield, and a dagger. And he pinned a bright silver color Christopher medal on his bride. So the medal name is Christopher medal. What the color of the Christopher medal? It is silver in color. He carried a horn and its shoulder strap was green in color. So the yeoman is carrying a horn with him and it was hung on its shoulder. So what is the color of the strap? It is green in color. So this yeoman is not only skilled in woodcraft, he was also a very good forester. So these are the descriptions given by Chaucer about the yeoman. Now we'll move to the next pilgrim, the prioress. Who is a prioress? Prioress is a nun who is the head of a small monastery. So this prioress is the first religious figure discussed by Chaucer in the Canterbury Tales. So who is the first religious figure discussed in the Canterbury Tales? It is the prioress. The prioress can speak French very well. Her name is Madame Eglantine. This prioress took her oath by Saint Loy, and she had an impressive table manners. She was charitable and compassionate. So Chaucer is explaining about this prioress. She was charitable and compassionate. He is giving an example to her compassion. If the prioress sees a mouse caught in a trap, or if it was dead or it was bleeding, she'll start to cry. So such kind of a person, our prioress. And she had small hounds. We already saw in the question that monk also had a greyhounds. Okay, so this prioress also had small hounds. Hounds means dogs. What is the food for the hounds? It is roasted meat or milk and fine white bread. This is the food for the hounds. Now Chaucer is moving on to describe about her physical features. Her mouth was very small, soft and red in color, and she is wearing a coral ornament on her arm. That ornament is decorated with large green beads. Okay, so she is wearing a coral ornament on her arm. Not only that, she is wearing a brooch. Yeah, brooch was hanging. What was the color of a brooch? It is bright gold in color. And what was written on the brooch? A, capital A with crown. So the letter A with crown is written. Not only that, after the letter A with crown, amor vincit omnia. It is a Latin phrase. Okay, they may ask what language is it? Amor vincit omnia. So it is Latin and it means love conquers all. So on the prioress brooch, capital A with crown is written, and after A, amor vincit omnia is written. And this prioress is bringing with her another nun as a secretary and other 3 priests. So Madame Eglantine is bringing with her a nun. We call her as a second nun because she's the first. Madame Eglantine is the first nun. So she is bringing another nun, so we call her as second nun, and other 3 priests with her. And here Chaucer is not describing this second nun and the other 3 priests. So here ends the description of Chaucer about the prioress. And our last pilgrim in this video is the monk. We already know who is a monk, right? A monk is a member of a religious community. So he had many fine horses in his stable. So this monk had many fine horses in his stable. When he rode his horse in a way that one could hear his bridle jingle as loud as the chapel bell. So what is bridle? Bridle is the one to control the horse. You can see, on the horse, using this bridle, the rider can control the horse. So when the monk was riding his horse, the bridle jingle means the sound. The bridle jingles like as loud as the chapel bell. So it was so loud. And he felt the rules of Saint Maurice and Saint Benedict were strict to follow. So he was in the monastery actually. So a monk must stay in the monastery, right? So previously he was in this monastery. It was under the control of Saint Maurice. They were following the rules and regulations framed by Saint Maurice and Saint Benedict. So who is Saint Benedict? Benedict is the one who framed rules to regulate how monks should behave in monasteries. So simply, Saint Benedict is the one who framed rules for the monasteries. And who is Saint Maurice? Saint Maurice is the disciple of Saint Benedict. Okay. Next, this monk thinks that the rules and regulations framed by Saint Benedict is very strict to follow. So he says to himself that let the whole things pass away. And he followed the customs of modern times. Here Chaucer uses a simile, like he is like a fish out of water. Why is he saying like that, fish out of water? See, as a monk, he should stay in the monastery and he should read holy books and he has to stay in prayer. But instead of doing that, this monk is always going for hunting and he loves his horse. So instead of staying inside the monastery, he stays outside the monastery most of the time. So that is why he is comparing that he is like a fish out of water, to say a monk out of his cloister. Okay, next. So Chaucer considered his opinion, that is the monk's opinion was good. Why should the monk study and make himself crazy? Why should he read all the books of holy books and books written by the saints and made himself crazy? So the author also feels right about the monk's opinion. We already saw that this monk had grey hounds as swift as fowl, as quick as a bird. So what is the purpose of having these grey hounds? These hounds help the monk to track and hunt the hare. I already told you he was very much interested in hunting. So these hounds, grey hounds, helped him in hunting. And he is and his sleeves end was lined with squirrel's fur. So the sleeves means the hand part, right? The sleeves end was lined with squirrel's fur, that is finest in the world. So it's a luxury item, right? Your monk should not possess such items, but this monk is having that. So it's just a contrary. And he had a pin of gold, and his head was bald, which shone like a glass. His head was bald, which was shining like a glass. Okay. Next, he was very plump, he is fat, and his eyes gleamed like a furnace under a cauldron. What is a cauldron? Cauldron is a metal pot with lid and handle. So his eyes are gleaming like furnace. So next is palfrey. Palfrey means horse. His palfrey was as brown as a berry. So the horse was brown color like a berry. So in this way, the author describes the monk. I hope you all understood. Go through once or twice, and whenever you have time, try to remember. And because we are going to see other pilgrims, so in our next video, I'm going to give the tales told by these 4 pilgrims. Okay, because if I continuously give the descriptions of the pilgrims, we may get a bit confused. So I'll give a break on that, and we'll see the tales told by these pilgrims. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.